Here's why your knees are cooked, but there's still time to save them. And it's okay. My knees used to be cooked as well. So I'm going to break down exactly how you'll be able to fix them, even just at home, for myself, and wanted to record this in here just that you can show. I'm in my living room right now. So basically you can see, doesn't matter where you are, you'll be able to fix your knees. I've gone through 3 ACL tears, pain walking down the stairs, into now I can do all this crazy stuff, pistol squats, reverse Nordic, sissy squats, Olympic lifts, all sorts of crazy stuff. And I could never even do that before. So I know for a fact I'll be able to help you as well. Same way I've helped hundreds of other athletes in person and online over the past couple of years. So a little bit about me: grew up in the States. I've been overseas in England for about 3 years now. I had an opportunity to come play football over here. But since then, I've torn my ACL 3 times, meniscus 3 times, and I've worked in a PT clinic for over 2.5 years before going out, doing my own thing, because there's things in PT that I liked, didn't like, and was seeing some pretty common occurrences that happened between me, some other patients as well. In particular, these 3 exercises, which I think we just focus on way too much when there's other things that we need to be prioritizing. So if this is you, watch the rest of this video. So main thing, they'll have you do all these different lateral walks, sideline clamshells, all this sort of stuff, and you're like laying on a mat. There's like some old guy over there. You're like, dude, is this how this is supposed to go? And then 3, you're gonna be doing this funky like lateral step down with your hip thing. I know we're obsessed with the glute med just because it's what helps our knee from caving inward when we're doing sports, but it doesn't really matter if we can't get into these deeper knee bends in sports anyway. So we need to be prioritizing that before we worry about all this, caving inward stuff. And it's like, yes, those exercises do have their place. Maybe a month or so of rehab just to get those things activated, because they do shut down with surgery or with an injury. But there's so much more that we can be doing. So that's essentially what this video is about. And I'm going to be able to break down all of that. This video is about to be about the front of the knee, and then there'll be a following video about the posterior chain and back of the knee as well, coming up soon. So start off, exercises that we can do. I'm going to show the first progression of stuff before I go into, different progressions. So first thing we can be doing, just take a band, like one of these long resistance bands. I have it in a lot of my videos, but all you have to do, and I'm sure at a PT clinic as well, they've had you step around like that weird thing, and then you're kind of like extending your knee. It's like $1,000 machine, but it's like, does not have to be that hard. All you have to do, order $10, $15 band on Amazon, tied around something stable. This is just a chair in my house. And then essentially put it a little bit above that joint line so it's not pulling directly behind the knee. And you're just going to be extending, getting that quad to fire again, building that tolerance in the knee, getting our quad to fire again, getting comfortable in this fully extended position. Especially, I know a lot of people struggle with range of motion. So this is going to be key. More blood flow, more healing into the knee, essentially warming up that joint before you start doing all these different step downs. So that is the first exercise. Don't have to do anything crazy. We're literally just working on extending that knee. You can do 3 sets, 15, multiple times per day. You can't really overdo that one, because if it does start hurting, then it's like, okay, use lighter resistance, or you don't have to do as many reps. Second, we're going to start focusing on our hip flexor, right? So instead of doing all these different bridges and like all these different kind of like weird looking positions, one thing that I like to do is actually start strengthening our hips and how we're actually going to be in these athletic positions. So one is just going to be this straight leg hip hold, holding this isometric position, getting this hip firing again after being weak or shut down for so long, holding this position for 3 sets, 15 seconds. After you do that, take a little bit of break, and then you can go into and you can take one step closer. Don't have to hold that tension yet, but then you can get directly into these 90-degree hip flexor holds. So we're actually getting strong in the same position, that mimics sprinting, you know, how we sprint, how we run. Being able to get strong in this hip flexor position will be key, especially for athletic movements. So that would be number 2. And for 3, we're going to start building up a level of joint tolerance as well. Getting in this bent knee hold position, being able to hold this isometric, waking up our foot ankle complex, waking up the arch of our foot, while being able to build that strength with the knee over the toe, you know. And we're not just going to start ripping all these step downs first. We need to get strong in this position first before we start loading it, you know. So really like this one, 3 sets 15 as well. Then, as I said, progressions of the stuff, and still highly recommend that you continue to do all this stuff just to get stuff warm before we start getting into deeper positions. So now I'm going to get into some of the step downs that you're going to be doing, and there's 3 main variations. It's going to be the Patrick, Poliquin, and then the TKE step down. So I'll break them all down right now. So first one, just your Patrick step. Even can be putting your hand on the wall, something to support you while you're doing this. Literally just pulsing at the knee, starting to put that knee over the toe and load it a little bit, ending in that shallow knee angle. 2, and I have some books right here just so I can show you. Don't need anything crazy equipment, but essentially, second one's just going to be heel elevated. So this is going to put a little bit more stress on our patella tendon, but then take out the ankle mobility portion of building strength within the knee. So that's really good to progress into and get that quad firing again. Good for this teardrop muscle, this VMO muscle, which is great for knee health. Being able to get strong in that allows for better tracking of the knee. And then finally, you can start getting into the TKE Patrick step. So similar to, in the TKE, we're just extending, but this one, essentially you're going to be doing a step down and then fully extending again. So it's just a combination of the two. Getting that quad firing, making sure that we're strong in that position. And why the bent knee is so important and why that knee over toe is so important, that's exactly where our knee is going to be whenever we're doing sports or cutting, changing direction, all these different things. We need to be strong in that position. And then finally, for our hips, and not sure if you've seen this exercise before, it's a little bit controversial with a lot of the knee over toe style stuff, but it's going to be that ATG split squat. So you'll be able to progress this pain-free, starting at an elevation that works best for you. And I like to view this exercise more as a hip flexor compared to, like a straight quad builder. It is good at building your quads, but I just like it for hip mobility a little bit more. So main thing, after we do some of our hip holds, this one we can start getting into this position, being able to stretch the front and the back of our hip flexor. Then come straight back up. And if that's too hard, you can even just hold this position for, 5 seconds or so. Then come straight back up, do the other leg, and eventually you'll be able to progress this into a flat ground position. And the idea is by ironing out both of our hips, we'll eventually be able to get in to a full range of motion squat without any pain. So that's why we're ironing out our hip flexors. And what I like about all these different exercises is that they all can be regressed. Doesn't matter if we're changing the angle we're putting our knee at, the height we're doing something at, or the amount of time we're holding a position for. All of these things can be manipulated to make sure that we can do all of this pain-free, So you can do that with all of these different exercises, making sure that we're feeling good. I know that's a lot of information, but if you just start implementing some of these things like 3 times a week, couple of times per week in your house, I can tell you that you will have more confident knees and better feeling knees. So that basically covers everything on the front side of the knee. I know we're going to be coming up with another video showing everything on the back side of the knee, making sure that we're getting strong in that position, and then eventually on the inner and outer portions of the knee as well. So if this video helped you out, please show some love. Rooting for all you guys. Main thing, if you have any questions at all, feel free to shoot me a note. Follow me on No ACL Needed on Instagram, like and subscribe, that sort of good stuff. This is new to me. But yeah, I'm excited for what's going to be going on in the future with this.